In the last class, we saw the topic of creation, and we saw that the entire creation consists of the three sharirams or shariratrayam and the three prapanchas or prapanchatrayam. The sthula sukshma karana shariratrayam. Trayam means the group of three. And sthula sukshma karana prapanchatrayam. Of these three, karana shariram is not created. It is potentially there even before creation. From that alone the sukshma and sthula shariram evolve. And similarly, karana prapancha is also not created. It is there even before srishti. And out of karana prapancha alone evolve the sukshma and sthula prapancha. And this shariratrayam is from the standpoint of the vyashti or individual, and prapanchatrayam is from the standpoint of the samashti, the total. And Brahman, the consciousness, pervades both shariratrayam as well as prapanchatrayam. And by pervading both, Brahman enlivens them. And that Brahman which pervades the shariratrayam, enlivening them, is called jivaha, whereas the same Brahman which pervades the prapanchatrayam and activates, enlivens them, and the same Brahman is called Ishvara. Brahman as the activator of the individual is called Jiva. Brahman as the activator of the total is called Ishvara. And therefore, Jiva and Ishvara are essentially the expressions of one Brahman alone. Just like the Prime Minister or President of a country, he functions both as an individual, as the head of his family, because he has to handle his family. Prime Minister of India or the President of America, he activates his family as an individual householder. Similarly, as the President of the country, he can activate the whole country also. The President of America can decide to attack Iraq. Whether it is right or wrong, it is a different thing. But when his country is attacking Iraq, he is functioning as Vyashti or Samashti. We don't say Clinton attacks Iraq, we say America. So, one and the same person, he is functioning as individual activator of a family. He also functions as the activator of a country. Similarly, one Brahman as an activator of Shariratrayam is called Jiva. As the activator of Prapanchatrayam is called Ishvara. Both are one and the same Brahman. And with this arrival of Jiva and the arrival of Ishvara Arrival means what? With the activation of both these, all the transactions of the world come and the samsara begins. And this is the topic of creation. Arrival of Shariratrayam, arrival of Prapanchatrayam, arrival of Jiva, arrival of Ishvara. I say arrival of Ishvara because only after the Prapanchatrayam comes, Ishvara becomes the activator of the universe. If the universe is not there, the activator of the universe is also not there. Therefore, once we introduce Shariratrayam, once we introduce Prapanchatrayam, introduce Jiva, introduce Ishvara, the Srishti topic is over. Srishti means what? The creation. Today we are entering into another major topic, and in fact this is the most important topic of the Vedanta, of the Upanishads, of all the Vedic philosophy. And that topic is called Jiva Ishvara Aikyam. Discovering the essential oneness of Jiva and Ishvara. Discovering the essential oneness of Jiva and Ishvara. And how are we going to do that? We are going to show that Jiva is also an expression of Brahman, expressing through individual sharirams. Ishvara is also another expression of Brahman, expressing through the Prapanchatrayam. Therefore, both of them are expressions of one Brahman. Therefore, we are going to say that Brahman is the essential nature of Jiva. Similarly, Brahman is the essential nature of Ishvara. Brahman is the essential nature of Jiva. Brahman is the essential nature of Ishvara. Therefore, essential nature of both Jiva and Ishvara are one and the same, and therefore they are essentially one. Now, to facilitate this understanding, I will first give an example. Then it will become clear. Now, outside there is the sun and the sunlight. Now imagine there is a dark room here. All the windows and doors are closed. Now I want to illumine this dark room. And I don't have any other method. There is no torchlight, there is no electric light, there is no matchbox, nothing is there. But I have got a mirror in my hand. I have got a mirror in my hand. Now the mirror does not have any illumining capacity. It is not a source of light. It is not a luminous entity. You know what is luminous? Luminous means that which has got its own light capable of illumining. So the mirror is not luminous, not capable of lighting up. But what did I do? I used my intelligence. I went out. There was one window or one door of the room open. I went out and kept the mirror in a particular angle so that the original sun which is up above gets reflected in the mirror. So a reflected sun is formed in the mirror. And once the mirror gets the reflection of the sun, the mirror becomes what? Not only mirror is illumined by the sun, the mirror itself becomes a bright source of light. The non-luminous mirror now becomes what? A luminous mirror, a shining mirror, a bright mirror. The sun is also bright. The mirror is also bright. But what is the difference between sun's brightness and mirror's brightness? The difference is sun has got natural brightness, whereas the mirror has got only borrowed brightness caused by what? The reflected sun. Therefore, the borrowed light I will call as Pratibimba Suryaha. Pratibimba Suryaha. And the sun which is in the sky I will call as Bimba Suryaha, the original sun. And now, because of the Pratibimba Surya, the non-luminous mirror has become luminous. The non-shining mirror has become shining. And not only that, the mirror gets a new status. What is that? It becomes the illuminator of the dark room. If you keep the mirror in a particular angle, the light will go out of the mirror, the reflected sunlight will go out of the mirror, and I can throw the light in any direction. I can read even books in that dark room. Now, how many sources of light? One is the original one, the sun. Another is the reflected one, the Pratibimba Surya. In fact, when in the night, full moon light, when the moon illumines the earth, you know what is the light given by the moon? In fact, Bhagavan has given examples for us. The moonlight is not original light. We all know that moon does not have a light of its own, just as the sun have. But still, the sunlight gets reflected on the moon, and that reflected sunlight is called what? Moonlight. Pratibimba Suryaha eva Chandra Prakashaha. And that moonlight is so bright on a full moon day that you can see the road very clearly. And in fact, big letters on a book you can even read. And therefore, how many things are there now? I am introducing 3 things. Original sun, a reflecting medium, a reflected sun. Original sun, reflecting medium, and reflected sun. OS, RM, and RS. OS na anartham, original sun. RM na anartham, reflecting medium. RS na reflected sun. Now tell me, how many reflected suns are possible? How many reflected suns are possible? As many reflecting media are there, so many reflected suns are possible. How many original suns are there? Ekaha. Don't show your astronomical knowledge and say there are many suns, each star is a sun. Adallam sollarengo. I am just talking conventionally. Sun is ekaha. So original is one, reflections are many depending upon the number of reflecting media. Now my next question is, if there are many reflected suns, will all of them be the same or will they be different in its quality? There are many reflected sun. All of them are original sun reflected. My question is, will there be a difference in the quality of reflection? The answer is, there will be a difference in the quality of reflection depending upon what? The quality of medium. In a small medium, there will be small reflection, big medium, big reflection, a dull medium, dull reflection, a bright medium, bright reflection. The quality of reflections vary, and therefore superficially all the reflections are different. The capacities are also different. With a small mirror, you can only illumine a small area. With a big mirror, you can illumine a bigger area. So the reflections are superficially different, but even though they are superficially different, essentially every reflection is nothing but what? An empirical expression of the original sun, which is one and the same. Just as we can say moonlight is what? I can say it is sunlight. Suppose somebody says moonlight is sunlight. It is right or wrong? Superficially looking, it is wrong because moonlight is moonlight. Sunlight is sunlight. They are different. But if we really think and analyze, I can boldly say moonlight is nothing but sunlight. But for that you require some knowledge of astronomy. What is that knowledge? Konja knowledge. Adukku vicharam, inquiry. So without the knowledge of astronomy, you cannot know this. By the knowledge of astronomy, I know. What is my knowledge? Sun has got intrinsic light. Moon does not have intrinsic light. Moonlight is nothing but the sun falling on the moon, and via moon the sunlight is coming to me. It's like somebody sending money order to you, and even though your relative has sent the money order, who hands over the money to you? The postman. And when somebody asks, who gave you money? What do you say? Postman gave you money? No doubt, superficially looking, the postman alone gives me money, but I know that it is my relative who has given the money through the postman. Similarly, what illumines the earth during the night is not moonlight. That is, moonlight is only postman. But it is the sunlight through the moon is illumining the earth. Therefore, what is the essential nature of moonlight? Sunlight. So therefore, original is the nature of every reflection. And therefore, all the reflected sunlights are essentially one, even though they are superficially different because of what? The reflecting media. Now, this idea or this example we will keep for understanding Jiva Ishvara Aikyam. Now, in this, the original sun is to be equated to the all-pervading consciousness. He is like the original sun. OS is to be compared to OC. OC nana, original consciousness. And we have got two types of reflecting medium. One is the Sharira Trayam, the three bodies, which is one reflecting medium, which can be compared to a small mirror. The three bodies can be compared to the small mirror. And there is the Prapancha Trayam, which can be compared to a big mirror. The mirror does not have a light of its own. Similarly, the body does not have consciousness of its own. Mirror does not have light of its own. Similarly, body does not have consciousness of its own. But mirror shines because of what? Because of borrowed sunlight, reflected sunlight. Similarly, body becomes sentient because of what? Borrowed consciousness. I will call it a reflected consciousness. Chaitanya Pratibimbam. Therefore, every body has got what? Chaitanya Pratibimbam. So, your body is a small mirror, and every body has got the Chaitanya Pratibimbam, and therefore now the body has become what? It has become sentient. It is made up of what? All metals, carbon, hydrogen, iron, nickel, sodium, potassium. It is a bunch of chemicals which has now become biochemistry. I told you the other day, the chemistry has become biochemistry because of what? The Pratibimba Chaitanyam, the reflected consciousness. A small ant has got Pratibimba Chaitanyam, and therefore the ant has got its own dot of consciousness. Mosquito has got its own dot of consciousness. Elephant, a bigger medium, it has got its own consciousness. And all of them are what? Not intrinsic consciousness, but they are all what? Borrowed Pratibimba Chaitanya. And this Pratibimba Chaitanya obtaining in the individual Sharira Trayam is called Jivaha. This Pratibimba Chaitanyam obtaining in Sharira Trayam, which enlivens the Sharira Trayam, is called Jivaha. And the glory is what? Because of the borrowed consciousness, now the inert body has become sentient body, and not only that, this body is capable of seeing the world. Therefore, who is seeing the world? Original consciousness or reflected consciousness? Remember the example? Who is illumining the dark room? The mirror or sun, if you ask, superficially seeing, it is the mirror with the borrowed light is illumining, but really speaking, the original sun through the mirror is illumining the room. Similarly, superficially seeing, the reflected consciousness experiences the world, but really speaking, it is the original consciousness which is reflected is seeing the experiencing the world. Therefore, this reflected consciousness is called Jiva Chaitanya. Jiva. Now, similarly, the Shastra says the Prapancha Trayam also has got the reflected consciousness, because of which alone the world functions like an organism. Just as our different organs function in harmony, otherwise the body will be dead. Similarly, the whole cosmos is functioning not as a chaotic thing, but it is functioning as one huge organism, like a Vishwarupa Purushaha, like a Virat Purushaha. That's why in Tamil the Lord is called Perumal. Perumal na enartham theriyumo? Perum All. Nammalella enadhu? Chinna all. What is the cosmos? Bhuf padau yasya nabhir viyadasura nilas chandra suryau chanetre karna vasha shiro dyaur mukhamapi dakhano yasya vasteyamabdhihi antastham yasya vishwam suranara khaga go bhogi gandharva daityaihi chitram ramramyatetam tribhuvana vapusham vishnu mesham namami. What is the body of Perumal? The Prapancha Trayam is the body, and this Prapancha Trayam is unified by what? By the consciousness which is inhering, which is reflected in the Prapancha Trayam. It is like a live body. It seems to have some understanding. That is why when we are violating the rules of environment, the world is responding. The ozone hole, if you are following the environmental problem, that ozone hole is destroyed, and therefore there are a lot of diseases coming. When they say, what does it mean? If you ill-treat the world retorts like a sentient being. And therefore we say, don't look upon the world as an inert bunch of matter, but the world is pervaded by an intelligence principle, which is the reflected consciousness. And how do you know world is pervaded by an intelligence principle? Because the world is functioning intelligently. There are physical laws, there are chemical laws, there are environmental laws, and all these laws are functioning harmoniously because of what? Some intelligence principle functioning. And what is that? Brahman pervading the universe. Therefore, we will call that intelligence which is pervading Prapanchatrayam as Prapanchatraya Pratibimbita Chaitanyam. So how many Pratibimbams? Shariratraya Pratibimbita Chaitanyam Prapanchatraya Pratibimbita Chaitanyam. So now look, the original consciousness is Brahman, which is one like the original sun. We have got two types of reflecting media. One is the three bodies, Shariratrayam. It is inert. Three universes, Prapanchatrayam. And now these three bodies enjoy a reflected consciousness which enlivens, harmonizes and unifies these three bodies. Even though many organs are there, we look upon this as what? One person. Then what is that unifying feature? That one sentiency is the unifying feature. Therefore, the reflected consciousness called Jiva is unifying the Shariratrayam. And similarly, the original consciousness is reflected in the three universes also, and that is called Ishvara. And what is the job of Ishvara? He unifies the universe, harmonizes the universe, makes the universe behave as though intelligently, as though one unit. The solar systems, the planetary movements, the galaxy movements, so many things are happening, but strictly according to the law. That means what? The world is functioning as though it is one unit. And what is that unifying spirit? It is the reflected consciousness which we call as Ishvara. And is there a difference between Jiva and Ishvara? If somebody asks, we will say, superficially seeing, there is a difference. Why? Because when the reflecting media are different, the reflections also will be different. Because Jiva is functioning behind only the individual, therefore his powers are limited. Limited knowledge, limited power, limited pervasion, alpajnaha, alpashaktiman, alpavyapi, everything is limited. Whereas Ishvara is the consciousness functioning behind the total. Therefore Ishvara has got natural forces for him to function. The thunder, the lightning, the earthquake, the storms, they are all whose powers? The powers of that Lord. And since Ishvara is the spirit behind the totality, his powers are what? Sarvajnaha, Sarvashaktiman, Sarveshwaraha, Sarvavyapi. Everything Sarva. Sarva Ishvara. Alpa Jiva. So therefore, superficially seeing, Jiva and Ishvara are not only different, in fact they are diagonally opposite. One says, I am a dasa and you are a Swami. I am a servant and you are the master. I am created and you are the creator. I am anathaha, you are anathanathaha. I am arthaha and you are arthatranaparayanaha. I am dinaha and you are dina bandhuhu. Jiva and Ishvara are diagonally opposite when we study them superficially. And in the Purva Bhaga of the Veda, the first portion of the Veda, the entire religion is based on the superficial difference. All the pujas, all the yagas, all prayashchitta karmas, all prayers, all pilgrimages, all of them are based on what? The superficial differences between Jiva and Ishvara. Whereas the final portion of the Veda, that is the Vedanta, its aim is what? I accept superficial difference. I know sunlight and moonlight are different, but I want to tell you something more. What is that? Moonlight is nothing but the sunlight. Even though it appears feeble and it appears powerless, the powerlessness is not the limitation of the light, but it is the limitation of the medium. In fact, when the Armstrong and group went to moon and they looked at the earth, earth was also what? Another moon only. They saw earth rise shining. So if earth is a small planet, the light will be what? This small. It is not the sunlight is limited. The limitation belongs to the reflecting medium. Therefore, Vedanta says the consciousness Jiva is none other than the original consciousness Brahman. The limitations belong to not the consciousness, but the limitations belong to what? The reflecting medium. And similarly, this big reflection also is a reflection, and its glory is because of better reflecting medium. And really speaking, Ishvara is also what? The original consciousness Brahman. Therefore, Jiva is essentially Brahman. Ishvara is essentially Brahman. And therefore, Jiva and Ishvara are essentially one and the same. If Ishvara can say, Aham Brahmasmi, Jiva can also say, without feeling any regret, he can confidently, boldly, the Jiva also can say, Aham Brahmasmi. Ishvara also can say, Aham Brahmasmi. And if somebody questions this, how do you say Aham Brahmasmi? You are so small. Then I will say, my smallness is not belonging to consciousness, but the smallness belongs to what? The reflecting medium, the body only. Remember the example? The light does not have this dimension. The light pervades this book also. Light goes beyond the book also. The limitation belongs to the book. It does not belong to the light. Similarly, I am the all-pervading consciousness. You are the all-pervading consciousness. Even Ishvara is the all-pervading consciousness. Therefore, there is no difference between Jiva and Ishvara. This recognition is called Jiva Ishvara Aikya Jnanam. Jiva Ishvara Aikya Jnanam. And in English it means the essential oneness of Jiva and Ishvara. And the word essential is very important, because superficially seeing, Jiva and Ishvara will be different, just as the sunlight and moonlight are different. But essentially, moonlight is also sunlight. Mercury light na indha light solla. Mercury planet, that light is also sunlight. Mars light is also sunlight. Jupiter light is also sunlight. But what will be the difference between Jupiter light and Earth light or Mars light? If you ask, Jupiter is the biggest planet, therefore its reflected light will be big. But how many lights are there? The entire planetary system or solar system, there is only one light. Similarly, there is only one conscious principle which is expressing as many type of jivas and also Ishvara. And this idea is revealed by all the Upanishads uniformly. That is the final portion of the Vedas. Uniformly reveal Jiva Ishvara Aikyam. The first portion of the Vedas does not reveal that. They accept what? Jiva Ishvara Veda. It's called LKG class. And they say you have to pray to the Lord, you are small, God is big, before everything you have to worship. All those things are, the entire religion is based on the first part of the Veda, and the content of religion is what? Jiva Ishvara Veda. Whereas the second part is called philosophy. From religion we have to go to philosophy, and the philosophy's content is what? Jiva Ishvara Aikyam. And this is the topic of all the Upanishads. This is the main topic of the Bhagavad Gita. This is the topic of Brahma Sutras. And any statement which reveals this essential oneness, any statement which reveals this essential oneness is called Mahavakyam. Mahavakyam does not mean a big statement. Mahavakyam does not mean a big statement. Mahavakyam means a statement which reveals the essential oneness of Jiva and Ishvara. In Sanskrit we call it Jiva Ishvara Aikya Bodhaka Vakyam Mahavakyam. Jiva Ishvara Aikya Bodhaka Vakyam Mahavakyam. And there are many Mahavakyams occurring in all the Vedas, in all the Upanishads they occur. But generally, as a sample, they give one Mahavakyam from each Veda. As a sample. In Rig Veda, there is a Mahavakyam. There are many Mahavakyams in Rig Veda. But they take one sample statement. It is called Prajnanam Brahma, occurring in Aitareya Upanishad. Prajnanam Brahma is what? The Jiva Chaitanyam. Prajnanam is equal to Jiva Chaitanyam. Brahma means Ishvara Chaitanyam. Both Jiva Chaitanyam and Ishvara Chaitanyam are one and the same Brahma Chaitanya. And similarly in Yajurveda also there are many Mahavakyams, and one sample they give is Aham Brahmasmi, occurring in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham means what? The Jiva Chaitanyam. Brahma means what? The Ishvara Chaitanyam. Both are one and the same Brahma Chaitanyam. And similarly, Samaveda also contains many Mahavakyams, and one sample is taken, and that is the famous Tat Tvam Asi. Tattvam Asi. Generally we think Tattvam-asi has got two words, Tattvam and Asi. Remember, it is not Tattvam plus Asi. It contains three words, Tat Tvam Asi. Tat means Ishvara Chaitanyam. Tvam means Jiva Chaitanyam. Both the Ishvara Chaitanyam and Jiva Chaitanyam are one Brahma Chaitanyam. So, Tat Tvam Asi. This occurs in Chandogya Upanishad. And Atharvana Veda also has got many Mahavakyas, and we take one sample, and that is Ayam Atma Brahma. Ayam Atma Brahma, occurring in Mandukya Upanishad. Ayam Atma Brahma. So thus, we generally give 4 Mahavakyas, but we should not conclude that there are only 4 Mahavakyas. 4 Mahavakyas are taken because 4 Vedas are there, samples are taken. Why should we take 4 samples? To show that all the 4 Vedas uniformly talk. They don't have a difference of opinion. Otherwise somebody will say, I will follow Rig Veda, you will follow Yajur Veda. No. Any Veda you follow, any Upanishad you study, the essence is the same. Therefore, Mahavakyam reveals Jiva Ishvara Aikyam. Otherwise they say Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam. So this is the most important and central theme of all the Upanishads. And we say that this knowledge alone can liberate a person from samsara. This knowledge alone can liberate a person from samsara. So one should come to Advaitam. This knowledge is called Advaita Jnanam. Advaitam means what? Jiva and Ishvara are not two. Jiva and Ishvara are one. And therefore it is called Advaitam. And as long as there is Dvaita Jnanam, there will be samsara. And only by Advaita Jnanam there will be freedom from samsara. And what about the other sadhanas that we do? He says that all the other things that we do may give us temporary freedom from our sorrows of life. Various other remedies that we do, astrological remedies, palmistry remedies, numerology remedies, people change their spelling. N.I. Subramanyam, Garnal Pandrikena Tapa Nandikadango. So, N.Y.A.M. N.I.A.M. Bodha Subramanyam. Attempted many things, lost. He says that this for this number, this is the number. And if you add even number comes, it is all because of that only. Therefore, change your name. So, N.Y.A.M. Bodha. E change to A change to E. So, people try various remedies. We accept all the remedies, but we say they are all temporary remedies. It will solve the problem. Bhagavatam gives the example. When you have got a huge burden to carry, and you are carrying in your hands or on your shoulders, and when there is lot of pain, you shift from one hand to another. Then what happens? Appa, varame illai. Everything relieved. How many minutes now? You walk a few steps, then the left shoulder starts paining. Then what do? Shift to right. Or when there is hot sun and the road is very hot and you don't have chappal. What do we do now? Oru kaala vechom, it's very hot, then immediately jump and put the other leg. And that becomes hot and you again jump. Similarly, all the other remedies are temporarily rearranging the problem. Getting money, getting children, getting grandchildren, getting son-in-law, getting daughter-in-law, all will give remedy. Nobody questions that. It will be a remedy, but it will be only a passing remedy. In medical language, they say palliative and curative. Palliative means a temporary relief. Curative means a permanent solution. This Advaita Jnanam alone can give permanent solution. Nothing else can give permanent solution. And therefore the aim of the Upanishad is what? Advaita Jnanam. And naturally the next question will be, what will happen to me when I gain the knowledge? In what way my life will become different? So that is called Jnana Phalam, and that will be the next topic that we will discuss. Jivatma Paramatma Aikya Jnana Phalam, or Jiva Ishvara Aikya Jnana Phalam. What is the meaning? The benefits of gaining the knowledge of Jiva Ishvara Aikya. That we will discuss in the next class. Hari Om. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.